Hello all you stamp friends out there. I represent Stamp Stars. We bring you all the exciting stamp stories from around the world. Today I'll tell you the exciting story of the 1-cent Magenta from British Guiana. It is one of the most rare and expensive stamps of the world. On June 17th, 2014, it was sold at Sotheby's for the record price of $9,480,000. It is thus by far the most expensive stamp ever sold. My name is Vagn Larsen. I'm from Denmark and I've been a stamp collector for more than 50 years. First, a little bit of prehistory. British Guiana is located in the northern part of South America. The country was first discovered by Christopher Columbus in 1498. In 1580, Dutch explorers built settlements in the country, and in 1831, the Crown Colony of British Guiana was founded. The first postal service to the British colony dates back to 1796. The first primitive stamps were issued in 1850. These stamps were printed by the local newspaper, the Royal Gazette in Georgetown. They are so-called cotton reels. They are circular stamps with just the name of the country, British Guiana, printed around the edge, and the denomination, for example 8 cents, is printed in the middle. You can see it from the picture shown. Today they are very rare stamps, especially the 2-cent stamp that was issued in 1851. Only 10 copies are known, and the catalogue value is no less than 70,000 English pounds for a used copy. And now to the story of the 1-cent Magenta from British Guiana. In 1855, a shipment of 1 and 4 cent stamps was ordered from England. The shipment was delayed, and when it finally arrived in November 1855, it contained only 10,000 stamps instead of 100,000 stamps. Because of the 90% reduction, the postal service in British Guiana was about to run out of stamps during the first month of 1856. Because of the shortage of stamps, the local postmaster, Edward Thomas Evans Dalton, authorized the publishers of the local newspaper, the Royal Gazette, to print an emergency issue of 3 different stamps. A 1-cent stamp for newspaper postage and 2 4-cent stamps for letters. The stamps were printed in sheets of just 4 stamps. The 1-cent stamps were printed in black on magenta colored paper. Both of the 4-cent stamps were printed in black, one on rose carmine paper and the other on blue paper. As you can see from the pictures, the design of the stamps is very primitive. At the top of the stamp is British, and at the bottom Guiana. To the left, postage, and to the right the denomination 1 cent. In the middle there is a picture of a 3-masted ship and the Latin words Damus petimus que vicissim. That means we give and expect in return. 4 thin lines surround the center of the stamps. Postmaster Dalton was not satisfied with the design of the stamps, and he ordered as a security measure that the stamps should be signed before use. The unique 1-cent Magenta, as well as the 2 4-cent stamps shown, is signed by E.D.W., that is the postal clerk E.D. White in Georgetown. It is supposed that the stamps were in use for only 8 to 10 weeks until new stamps from England arrived. They are therefore very rare, especially the 1-cent stamps, because people do not keep old newspapers. And now, how was a unique 1-cent Magenta found, and what happened to the stamp later? In 1873, the 12-year-old Scottish schoolboy Louis Vernon Boreham, who lived in Guayana, found the stamp among the letters of his uncle. Some weeks later, he sold it to Neil Ross McKinnon, who was a local stamp collector. He sold it for only 6 shillings. As you can see from the table, the unique 1-cent Magenta have had 13 owners during the last 176 years. Among them are the most famous stamp collector ever, Philip von Ferrari. He assembled the most complete worldwide collection that has ever existed or is likely to exist. He also owned other extremely rare stamps, as for instance the unique Treskelling yellow of Sweden and the only known cover featuring both values of the first Mauritius post office. The 1-cent Magenta from British Guiana has been shown to the public on several occasions. Latest, it was on display at the National Postal Museum in Washington. It was from 2015 until 2018. From 1873, when the stamp was found, the price has risen from only 6 shillings to $9,480,000 when it was last sold in 2021. By far the highest price that has ever been paid for a single stamp. And that was all for this week, but don't forget to join us for next week's story. Here we present the exciting story of the very rare red and blue post office stamps from Mauritius. The 1-cent stamp Magenta from British Guiana is still the most expensive single stamp ever sold. But in 2021, a cover was sold by a German auction house for no less than $9,600,000, a new world record for a philately item. Last but not least, do not forget to register as a subscriber. And do not forget that you can follow me on Instagram at stampstars1 and on my blog stampstars.com.